All right, in 3, 2, 1.
Go! Get to the podcast!
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a podcast?
I have come here to chew bubblegum and
Podcast.
and I'm all out of bubblegum.
HBO. Home box office. Why did they ever do that?
Here we go.
Home
They never
box
say.
office.
I didn't know what HBO stood for the longest time. I was like, that was a weird name for a company.
Wait. I got to press rewind. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Get to the Movies. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
All right, we're talking about HBO.
Why are we talking about HBO?
Because we're going to take it up a notch.
Because
We're going
they
to drop some
suck,
shows.
man.
There's a lot of shit coming out. We're going to drop some shows. I'm excited about shows. I've been
They're
watching
getting into
shows
they're
since
getting-
I watched shows, and
I
they're
think it's because
showing
they're getting into the
off
sanitary
shows.
They're getting into the sanitary napkins industry.
Yes.
They're HBO Max.
Manly wipes? What are they
Manly
called?
wipes.
Those
Manly
man wipes?
Manly wipes, I think.
They're getting into the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, HBO Max. I don't know. My joke wasn't funny. Fucking Jesus.
It
I'm
was
losing
But it's
it.
all right. Hey, you tried. That's the great thing about it.
I
Now we're
always
just moving
try.
on.
Tried.
I try.
I try a lot of jokes. I have a lot of failures.
Mostly failures, but okay. So HBO Max.
I left that door open and she closed it. There's a breeze.
Yeah,
So
everybody knows HBO from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, so HBO Max.
Game of Thrones.
The
You go
greatest
back to
show in the history
Wire,
of human
Sansa.
culture.
Sansa.
It's a really good fucking show. But
Is
I
that
actually,
what the consensus is?
yeah. I was
Until The Lord of the Rings comes out on Amazon.
I was just at at
you
Austin
sure
Film
about that?
Festival and went to
It's
a
gonna be
panel.
good.
Are you sure about that?
How can it not be good?
Yeah. That's
Peter
Look,
Jackson is producing. They're
Yeah.
filming all the shit in New Zealand, and Jeff Bezos like, here's $1 billion.
Yeah,
Fucking
but Game of
kill it.
Thrones was the shit until it wasn't the shit.
It
Yeah,
was a
but
great
Game of
show.
Thrones is a
always
slow
the
burn.
end.
It
I'm
was a
just
slow
saying-
burn. It was one of those like it took 10 years for it to
Game
get
of Thrones
really,
was
really
always
amazing
great.
and
People
epic.
are full of shit. That's the fucking.
Look, all I
truth.
say
Yeah.
about
That's
the
awesome.
last
That's
season,
awesome.
this
Last
is what I
season
say
was
about
great.
the last season. They wrote the last season like it was a book. And it goes well if you read it as a book, but it didn't go well on screen on a lot of things. I accept it because I love the show. It was
Yeah.
great.
I wasn't
and I was like,
disappointed
it
or
ended.
unhappy,
It's
but-
good. I don't care. I'm not going to sit there and down it because I had so many episodes that was incredible. So I never downed Game of Thrones, but I understood what people said about the last, especially the last episode.
It's funny that you say it's like a book because I think the exact opposite. I think the first like 5 seasons are like feel like an adaptation of a book, and then like basically when they reached that point where there was no book to take anything from, it started to feel like a normal like television show.
But think
like
about-
a
think
normal,
about the last
like it started
episode.
to feel like TV and not feel like an adaptation of a novel.
Think about the last
if
episode.
that makes any sense.
Remember the last episode? Remember all the epic scenes that you saw in the last episode with the dragon, everything in it?
Yeah.
If you describe that in the book, the details of it is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's why I took that, I see it that way, is because if you were to describe all those scenes in a book, it would be an epic chapter of a book. It would be great,
Yeah.
you know? And I think visually it didn't come through. The story didn't come through visually. So, but I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm not.
We
gonna
could
say
talk
anything,
all day.
I'm not going to
We
say
could talk
anything
forever
bad about it.
this.
Yeah,
It's like there's no reason to be upset because
I'm
the
not
show
upset.
I think the show got too big.
One.
It was like impossible. It would have been impossible. Like people are like, oh, if you ended it this way, everyone would have been happy. But it's
No.
like I don't
There-
know.
yeah,
I don't
no.
think so.
There-
I
there
think
wouldn't
there's
been-
always
yeah.
going to be a minority of people that
Because-
are like, why did you end it that way?
Let's put it this way. I'm a
Oh.
Game of Thrones fan. This person over here is a Game of Thrones fan. We have completely different sensibilities. We
Yes.
both like the show, but for different reason and in different ways.
Yeah.
And things that's going to satisfy him are not going to satisfy me, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's as simple as this. I was good with it. I liked the last season.
Because
I
you're a
liked the last
rational
episode.
person. All the irrational people.
Relatively, right? So then this fuck over here, this fucking fuck over here, right? No, he's over here and he's just going, that's trash, blah, 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 this. Like, what have you created in your life? Now, I know that's a lazy argument for that, where it's sort of like, well, why don't you go do something better? I know that's a lazy argument. I
That is a
agree it's a
lazy
lazy argument, and I don't like saying it, but at the same time,
It is.
what I see usually from people who do that are simply spectators. They simply they have this idea in their head that they can judge in a way, like, because I'm like, I don't listen to people's judgment on things unless they have some better insight into
The
something.
whys.
Give me more. Don't
Yeah.
just give me these plain old tired out things like, oh, this episode wasn't lit right. This is not how this should have gone. Or
It's too dark.
Meme-worthy.
Those are like headlines
I
in the
know.
mainstream media. This
Meme-
episode, the greatest episode of television history ever
Yes.
that I've ever fucking seen in my life,
We live in
was too dark.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Are
we
you
live
fucking
in,
kidding me
I
right
know,
now?
I
Like
know.
that shit was like, I've seen movies that didn't come close to that one fucking
Maybe your
episode of
TV,
Game
your
of
TV
Thrones.
sucked. I don't know. I didn't have an issue
Yeah,
with it.
so-
You know, it
I
was.
think people had
perfectly
shitty
fine.
TVs. They bought them shit Black Friday TVs.
Yeah.
They had, like horrible black.
$200, 65-inch fucking TV.
Yeah, but
$200.
the black light performance, or what do they
Yeah.
call it? The black level performance is
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, we live in a meme culture now, right? So everything can be summed up in a meme. And if your argument for why that season sucked can be summed up in a meme, it's not good enough. Like,
not
I
a
don't know what
real
to say.
argument.
If you could give
That's
me
a good statement. I like
and I
that.
believe that's kind of like everything's getting to these canned, simple bullshit. Like they're just lazy. And
Why
I
does
think-
that suck? Because it sucks.
Yeah, or you make some
That's
snarky,
not-
snarky
you know.
thing. It's sort of like memes tend to be very snarky.
You remember
While
the
I find them
petition?
funny. At the same time, it's sort of like I don't put a lot of fucking weight in these things, and people seem to be influenced by.
You
these
remember the
fucking memes.
petition, right?
Yeah,
there was
to
like
redo it.
100,000 or a million
crazy.
people signed a petition to redo the
crazy.
entire last season the way the audience wants. You know what this is?
We
This
need a
is-
fucking Black Plague. Is
No,
what we
but it's
need.
a direct
Holy
result
shit.
of this attitude that like people on social media think that they can control like Hollywood.
Oh, yeah, those-
basically.
But
and
that's
they-
the sa-
and
I
they
think
have
that's
that
the
they
sad
actually
thing.
have influence, and it's like
I think that's the sad thing. They do have push influence because a lot of
degree. I've
to
never
a
seen those
very
petitions.
no,
small
I've seen a lot of
degree.
productions being shut down or changed because there was such a push by
Like
by,
a
not
minority.
petition related. Usually, they're
Dude,
not
the
petition
whole thing-
related. It's
But
more.
remember
it's mainly
people
like
were-
if
Well,
there's
not
some
petition.
sort of
I'm
political
saying-
element to it, or like
No.
socially sensitive. You know, like
this whole thing that's
casting a
happened
white
with
actress in an Asian role that'll get shit shut
no,
down.
like this whole thing with cats,
It
the
just
whole thing
depends,
with
though.
Sonic the Hedgehog, like
that
literally,
did happen. Yeah.
like it's
But
like
it really-
people
He
really
has
pushed.
human teeth. Shut it down.
I think it's
Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's
It's
individual. I
crazy.
think it's producer dependent. If the producer's weak, a weak individual, and he can't stick to his artistic, roots or whatever, then yeah, he's gonna fold and be like, oh well, this mass of unknown,
It's hard,
random words on a fucking internet is gonna tell me how to
It's
live
the
my life.
dollar
and,
sign.
So
you
bringing
know,
it back to Game of Thrones
yeah.
real quick, I was just at the Austin Film Festival, and D.B. Weiss and David Benioff were there, the creators of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I went to a panel with them.
They got booed.
No, they didn't. Anyways,
I saw something else.
I
where-
saw these things talking
Oh.
about what things they said there, and I'm like, you guys
It
are
was
just...
the brother. The brother got booed at some convention recently.
brother?
The guy that played Cersei's brother, or whatever. She was
Oh,
banging.
yeah, whatever his name is. Scandinavian name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the guy with the hand.
Jamie.
Jamie
Lannister.
Lannister.
Yeah, he like mentioned the final season,
I know.
and then the audience booed, and he's like, "Are you guys fucking kidding me right now? Like,
Yeah.
one second we're like the greatest show in the history of the world, and then 2 episodes later, you're like, it's the worst show ever made.
I
Like, are
hate
you
these
kidding
people.
right now?
No, I literally saw threads from people that were apparently at Austin Film Festival, like a couple people. It's like, everybody's having a great time and loving it and cheering them on, and then you have like two fucking...
haters.
Yeah, really, like just sitting there and then go on Reddit and do a thread. And I was in that panel and I'm like, what are you talking about? And the way they skew it, they're like, they just conned HBO into giving them the show. They didn't know what they were doing. They finally admitted they had no idea what they'd done because they never did a show before. And they were talking about that. Dave Benioff was like, we didn't know. I was in a meeting and they were like, we got to make sure we have enough coverage. And I was like, I don't know what coverage means. I'm embarrassed to say it now, but I didn't know these things. I wrote feature films, and in features, writers don't have a lot of power. You write the feature script, you hand it off, and then the production team takes it, and you're not usually involved even on set. And it's like in TV, writers are king. So now you're all of a sudden making all those decisions beyond just the written word. And he's like, I don't know what we're fucking doing, but we know these books.
Yeah.
And they did a great job. So like these people are trying to do a revisionist history thing where they're going back and saying the whole show was shit and they should have never conned HBO into giving the show. I'm like, because of 6 or 7 episodes you're upset about, like you're gonna go, come on, dude.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, but it's not.
But it's weird because the only way I could even actually justify being that upset about a television show would be like if somebody took like your religious text, like if somebody took the Bible and did a film adaptation and it was a poor adaptation and then they were upset, then I'd be like, oh, well, that's your religious belief and they did a really bad job portraying it on film. So I could see why you're upset. This is a fucking novel of some
Fantasy.
make-believe bullshit. And these people are acting like it's like their
Bible.
fucking church or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, get the fuck out of my face, you
I think,
fucking
you know,
piece of shit.
it's very. He just got
right?
it there.
I mean, how can you
I'm
even?
with you, man.
It's so ridiculous. I'm like,
It's interesting.
Neil, this is
although
why
if they,
this is
if
why
they
we're
fucked
friends.
up Game of Thrones, I mean, if they fucked up Lord of the Rings, I'd be upset.
Yeah, of course you would.
Well,
You
guess
would-
what?
You wouldn't be like that.
There's
though.
going to be episodes on
Also,
that.
I should say I've
There's
never
gonna-
read Game of Thrones, so I
Yeah,
don't. you
there's
know.
going to be episodes in the
it called?
Amazon Lord of the
Winter-
Rings that you're not going to like.
A story of fire and ice or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
right,
A song of
yeah.
fire and ice.
Yeah, Song of Fire and Ice. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's like I said. This is how I saw. Did I want more from the last episode? I wish there were more, but I accepted the ending. I thought it ended, and not everything has to be this epic, grandiose ending to everything.
Yeah.
I think they
It's
finished
hard
off
to
the story.
end.
It's very hard to end,
Hard to
especially
end.
when you look. It's in history when you're on top. There's so many fucking roads for you to come down.
Yeah.
There's so
And
many
people
fucking
gunning
roads
for
for
you.
people, and people are gunning for you. And there's so many roads for you to fall fucking off the fucking cliff. You know, so it was very easy for somebody to just take something and say, "Oh no, that fucking ruins the whole show ever." You know, especially talking about when Khaleesi dies by Jon. Let me tell you, that conversation was started like 3-4 episodes prior to the damn show, to the last episode. And people were like wanting Jon to kill her. And that's what happened.
mean,
Why are you upset because
Yeah.
that happened just because it didn't happen the way you wanted it to happen?
No, what they
Like, I
wanted
had a
was they
scene.
wanted an incestuous relationship to continue.
I should point out
These
that we
freaks.
weren't initially intending to talk about Game of Thrones for an hour. But
No, we
That is
weren't.
true.
But we
Talking
just
about
had to,
HBO,
Can I say one
but-
other thing that they said at the
You
Austin
can't.
Film
Those two
Festival?
are non-interchangeable. Like,
they're
you
brothers
have
and
to-
sisters, yeah.
Yeah, you have to talk about Game of Thrones when it comes to
Yeah.
HBO.
So one other thing they said at the Austin Film Festival is that they stopped paying attention to the internet around season 2.
Good.
Negative and positive, and I thought that was really interesting. Is sort of like they were like, we couldn't do this in a creative sphere. Like, we could not keep reading and seeing what people are saying, even if they're praising you. Like, it messes up the creative process.
Yeah.
So like, we shut all that shit down. We didn't read a single goddamn word from about season 2 onwards. And I was like, that's really interesting. And I think it's smart. So it's like they wrap up the show like the way they were gonna do it, and they did it in a bubble, and they were like, fuck it.
I think it's interesting. You guys remember the show Lost, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
People
the
were pissed off about the end of that. I never saw the end, but
the producers and the
Well,
directors.
those like wasn't as prominent. You didn't have all the fucking bullshit people on the internet. You didn't have as many people
Not
as
like it is
vocal
now.
Well,
back then. But yeah, I remember. I watched the final season. I actually skipped that season because
For
of
years,
the negative
right?
stories, and then I finally sat down and watched like the last 2 seasons, and I was like,
Yeah.
"This is fucking great."
God, I can't
What the
Well, the
hell are people
director-
talking about?
the
Why did I
director-
not watch?
we're
this?
so salty.
the
man.
director said this. He's at the end. He said this. He said, "Look, a lot of what people don't understand is that when they're complaining about episode 3, we're already working on episode 6. So we already have a lot of things in motion, and it's not easy to come out of that. Sometimes we get in motion, and we have to keep going that route.
Yeah.
Just because, you know, when somebody's, oh, this happened in episode 3. Oh, it's stupid. It can't happen. It has to. They're on recording or they're putting together episode 6.
Yeah.
So
At least.
they can't focus on that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, they have to keep going, and then they have to look at it and see, okay, what better route can we take this from that point on? You know, so I don't know. There's a lot of behind the scenes shit that happens that people don't understand.
Yeah.
That it can't just be bottled up in the fucking meme, like you said.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Well,
totally.
Also, we can't. You can't with a show that was as big as Game of Thrones or, or Lost. It's like it's impossible to expect that
Yeah.
everyone is going to be on the same page.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. Like especially Game of Thrones, which was like an internationally beloved show.
Right.
Like hundreds of millions, if
Yeah.
not billions, of people.
Oh, it
watched
broke
this
records.
Easily
fucking
one of the biggest shows of
Yeah.
all
Broke
time,
records.
like top 5
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah,
of.
and then we're
even
gonna
quality.
sit here and expect that like out of 1 billion people, they're all gonna be on the same page. Like we all agree that everything
promise
was
you
perfect.
this.
Of course not. You're gonna have like 10 million people that are like fucking
I
garbage.
I
And
promise.
even if
Hold
you
on.
don't
I
like it,
promise
that's
you
okay.
this.
It's
lose
just-
their mind.
I promise you this. Majority of those people are going to be watching the fucking spinoff.
Yeah, the prequel that's coming out.
They canceled it.
No,
No,
they
they
were developing
canceled
more than
one.
one. They
They
canceled
canceled
the one with Naomi Watts, but there's another one coming
Yeah.
out. They were developing 2 prequels at the same
They
time.
canceled the
They're
one
gonna
about.
cancel that too.
Who knows?
They're
Why
actually-
would
no.
they?
Because
No,
internet
they confirmed
trolls,
it.
internet
No.
trolls are gonna.
They
fuck it up.
confirmed it.
Money's
they
money,
just
man.
put out
Game of
because
Thrones.
that came out, that meme came out, and that storyline came
They
out.
gave
and
a
it got-
release date on it. Like they're
Yeah.
official.
Oh,
they
okay.
they put that notice out, and it got to headlines
Yeah.
that show was canceled, and it sounded like they were canceling both. HBO at 8:00 that night,
the next day or
released
that night? Yeah.
released that one show got canceled. This show is still happening, is actually in production or getting ready
wait,
to go into
yeah,
post.
pre-production.
There's 2
Which
shows.
one's the one that's
So,
happening?
The one
I
that's
heard
happening is
about
Naomi
about the
Watts one
Targaryen.
is
The Targaryen
the
is
House
happening.
of the House of Lannister or the House of
The House of Dragons
Dragons
is happening.
It's happening.
The House of
what is that story like?
I think
the
it's like 10
Targaryens. That's
Okay,
the Targaryen.
so-
that's
oh,
what
so
happened.
it's like
the
a
ones about the
1,000 year or
Starks.
500 years
10,000
earlier or
I think it's like
something.
10,000
If I'm
years.
correct, the ones
They're
about the
just trying to
Starks.
One of them is
compete with
10,000 years
Lord of the
earlier.
Rings. That's all.
No, they're not.
You
Yeah,
think
they
Lord
are.
of
The
Rings
ones
is
about
trying to
the
compete
Starks
with
is
Game
the
of
ones that
Thrones?
got closed down.
No.
No, listen.
Dude,
I
Lord
love-
of the Rings will always trump Game of Thrones.
No, I'm just saying when they decided to do
Like,
a
come
series,
on.
they were trying to do their own Game of Thrones. Is what they're trying to do. I mean, that was obvious. They took advantage of that opening for that. I mean, Lord of the Rings. Don't get me wrong.
I don't
those
know
movies,
if that's true. I mean, Lord of the Rings came out 2003. I don't think there
Movies,
would have
though.
been a Game of Thrones without the Lord
I
of the
agree.
Rings.
I agree. I'm just
films.
saying this new show that's coming out was definitely them trying to do their own. But at the same time, I'm down with it. I'm down with it. I'm just not
Oh
saying.
yeah, everybody.
Dragons
HBO,
and
I'm sure,
dwarves.
was bidding on
Yeah.
the Lord of the Rings thing.
Right.
Like they were all those networks were bidding on the rights to it.
Everybody's
But-
trying to be a Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
Fucking nerds, man.
Fucking nerds.
nerds are ruining.
Remember
ruining
Revenge of the Nerds?
world.
I hate nerds.
Yeah. They're gonna develop some like fucking thing and then drop it in the water supply and everybody be dead because some fucking nerd, like some fucking nerd's gonna murder.
I can't
the
rewind the whole
fucking-
iPad podcast, but let's go back to
HBO
HBO
Max.
Max.
So they what's interesting about this is it's not HBO Now, it's not HBO Go. It's more of not even a subset.
It's interesting.
An add-on subscription service that has a lot more content that's not HBO content. They're going to be
Correct,
doing
yeah.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. They have the full streaming rights to that. That's not streaming anywhere right now, guys.
Yeah.
That fucking excites the shit
So
out of me.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Pretty Little Liars, The Big Bang Theory, South Park. They're going to be the only
Park.
Friends. They're going to be the only one that have the rights.
Yeah,
to
they're taking
those.
Friends from Netflix.
They're
and going to
taking.
HBO Max.
This is cool. This is cool. I didn't bring this up earlier, but this is like sounds very interesting because so there's DC does these online shows.
Yeah, they had their own platform for a
Their
little
own
bit.
platform. Well,
Shutting it down, isn't it? I think DC.
no. They have this, which is amazing. Like the shows that they have
Robin,
online.
the Robin one.
The Robin, which is not the Nightwing show. The stuff that's online. It's fucking great. It's better than the fucking any movie that they put out. And so what's happening is that they are going to redo the CW series, create a whole new DC universe within HBO. I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
Wow.
that should be.
So they're
interesting.
basically trying to compete with Netflix.
Who isn't?
But I mean, like that with I can't even say original content. They're basically bringing non-original.
They're
content.
licensing other stuff now.
God, this is so
in
fucked,
addition to
man, dude.
HBO.
How are we not fucked? How is like
me-
citizens, like the population?
Here's
not
what's
fucked?
great about HBO Max. We're gonna get it. If you have HBO, you get HBO Max. So I'm okay with that because I don't have to pay an extra $15 a month. I have HBO.
Maybe for the first year. Until they change their fucking policy, so they got you hooked on the crack, and then they start charging you more. Next thing you know, you're out on the street, servicing people to
The money's
get your
not-
fucking addiction. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, they're taking
Money's not
on
in the sale.
Doctor
It's
Who.
in the re-up.
dude, it's like
Yes.
this is so like I'm excited, but I'm also like this is so fucked.
No,
man.
I'm
like,
good with
I
it
don't wanna
because
fucking pay for
You're
Disney
not
Plus.
though. You're not.
Check this out.
Oh,
Check
but
this
that
out.
you
Check
are.
this out. Well, you're
Well, I already-
if you pay for cable, it's literally the same
Wait,
thing.
you know what's
and
gonna
think
fuck
about how
this
much you
thing
pay for
and make
cable.
people enraged when they start preventing you from sharing your account with other people. They're gonna like lock your account to your IP address, and
They
if
can't
you
do
try to
that.
give it to your family member and across the planet or whatever,
they
They'd be
can't.
slitting
They're
their own
gonna
throat.
block
They
them out.
know they'd be
you
slitting their
say
own
they
throat.
can't
Well,
do it,
and
but they
Netflix
are
is doing
going
that.
to do it.
Netflix-
That's like a cell
This
phone
is
plan.
what all
not
of these
giving you
big
unlimited
corporations
text.
do, man.
Netflix
And
is
sooner or
trying to
later
do
they
that
become
right now.
super
Actually,
greedy.
They're all loosening that grip because they know that that's a big.
No.
Actually, no, there is somebody that's. You're right. Netflix is starting to clamp down.
Netflix is starting
Yeah.
to cap that. But check
But
this
Netflix
out.
has been losing money for years. That's the problem. Netflix has
Losing
been.
money?
Yeah, they've been in a fucking deficit for years.
They've
and
never
years.
been.
Oh, it's only
They
because they're
spend
spending
$6
money
billion
on
a
their,
year because they went from being a DVD mail service to a streaming service of licensed shows,
still
and then
do
they
DVDs.
But then they knew they they have a lot of foresight. I know I still have a
Check this
DVD
out.
plan. They have
Unbelievable.
foresight. They have foresight where they constantly go, we need to shift our model. Now they're shifting to the originals because they're losing all this licensing thing as other people create their own streaming services. They're losing The Office. That's huge. That's their biggest show. Netflix. Their biggest, yeah.
I've never watched an episode
You're
on
in,
Netflix.
I have watched
when
it
they
100,000
lost It's Always
times.
Sunny, I was very upset,
There
and
you
I
go.
fucking hate Hulu. So it's
Check this
like,
out. So
You should just go through the ads
I just
one.
and I don't want to buy the DVDs because then it's like I have to stand to like put
Get
a disc
the
in.
ad-free Hulu. You'll be fine.
I have to like move my body to insert a disc.
We
into
are-
the Blu-ray.
So they're
player.
saying that
Piece of shit.
HBO
Yeah,
Max,
we're the worst.
HBO Max is likely to mix all these additional content from and produced by Warner Brothers, New Line Cinema,
TNT,
DC
TBS,
Entertainment, CNN,
New Line, yeah.
TNT, TBS, True TV, The CW, Turner Classic Movies, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Crunchyroll, really, Rooster Teeth,
Okay.
and
Rooster-
Looney
Rooster
Tunes,
Teeth, I know. But real quick,
and
though,
all the AT&T.
this is
Warner
important.
Media.
I think this is very important
This
to
is very
notice what
important.
everything they just said in there.
Yeah.
Those cover a lot of the shows we aren't currently able to see anywhere.
Exactly.
And HBO is picking up the slack that nobody else is handling. Like Fresh
Exactly.
Prince is not. That's a huge show. People love Fresh
What
Prince.
is it on right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Are you sure?
No, Fresh Prince hasn't streamed anywhere. Neither is Martin, by the way. They better be
Martin
picking up
is on
Martin.
television.
No, it's streaming. It's not on any streaming.
Oh, no,
service.
no, no,
That's
it's
what
not.
I'm saying. It's on TV. Yeah, BET or VH1 or whatever,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they put a commercial every 2 minutes. I fucking can't stand it. Every time I try to watch Martin, I'm like, are you kidding me with this? It's a 40-minute fucking thing to show me 20 minutes of a show. So, no, but this HBO is picking up the slack for all these ones that don't exist
This is
currently.
what-
And they're getting a couple of the big ones. Like South Park has been on Hulu, and Friends has been on Netflix, so they're taking those ones, but they're opening up. Like Fresh Prince hasn't been streaming anywhere. They're doing Cartoon
mean-
Network stuff, Adult
Wait.
Swim stuff.
This is gonna feed his conversation. This is gonna be interesting to you because Warner Media encompasses a range of produced feature films, which one of them is of course, the DC universe, which is all that superhero movie, the Godzilla and King Kong series, also Lord of the Rings franchise.
Yeah, New Line too is in there.
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's very interesting.
That's the thing.
So-
They're going to be
and
in movies. It's not just shows. and
Harry
that's what-
Potter. Oh my gosh, dude, this is like HBO is coming out like Disney.
Yeah, they're doing all the DC stuff too. So
This
this
is
is
money. Like, how much money does Netflix make? How much in a year? How much money they?
a
pull
lot.
in?
I think they
Billions.
have. Yeah. Well, yeah, they do make billions. But
like
a month they make
billions
like
of dollars.
100.
Holy shit.
Something million or like a couple hundred. What is
no,
it?
they
What
they
is their
have
what is their number? They
Several
have,
100 million subscribers.
I forget the
paying,
number.
Like $15 a month.
let's say
or
$10.
whatever,
Let's say it's an average of
$11.
$10. Let's say it's $10 just
Okay.
to average it out. I forget how many they have. Let's say they're 150 or 200 or 300 million subscribers, which are
Is it
leveling.
that many?
I think so. It's leveling off right now, by the way. So they are running into a thing where they're trying to get new subscribers, which is why they're clamping down on how many people can use an account. But let's say they've got 200 million at $10. You know, you're talking about $2 billion.
Dude, you're not even close. How much? How much does Netflix make in a month? This is 2017.
Yeah.
So maybe it's less. It says the totals look like they make about $950 million per month.
Okay, that's still fucking a lot. It's
According
basically
to
$1
the
billion.
company's earnings report.
Good. Go 2 years of they're making over $1 billion
They're
a
also
month.
making an additional $30 million on DVD rentals because people still do that.
Yeah, man. They have about 1 million
This guy
subscribers.
does it.
I do. I have the entire time. No, because they do.
That's their.
Let's say
that's
they've
the
got-
income. That's not.
Let's say they're making about $1 billion
$1 a
yeah,
month,
but
so
they're
$12
spending
billion a
so
year.
much between licensing and paying $6
But-
to $8 billion in originals productions. Plus, they're playing on the licensing fees.
HBO, I was just looking on their Wikipedia page. It said that in 2017 they spent $2 billion and then made $4 billion or something.
Yeah, I
so
believe
they're
it.
not making Netflix money.
No,
You know, they're making
hold
a
on,
fraction of Netflix.
here's the thing.
So everybody's trying. Disney's
but
trying to get on
HBO's
that
spending
Netflix.
a lot more.
Yeah, but
But the only way they're
going
going to make that money is if Netflix loses it.
No,
It
no.
loses
Here's the thing. Here's what you're not
customers,
taking
right?
account for. Netflix is on borrowed money. Like they run
Yeah.
on investors.
Yeah, they're a younger
Like-
So
company.
they
Tesla.
they
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
They're a younger
they run
company
invest-
too.
And you have
they're
It's only because
Disney
they
coming-
spend their money on content.
no
right?
no. That doesn't
well,
matter.
that is part of it. But
That's
if
part
they
of it,
didn't
but
do
it's
that, they
still
wouldn't make
borrowed
the money
money.
they make. Yeah.
But here's the thing: Disney's coming in. They don't have any borrowed money. They have the fucking money.
yeah.
And they don't.
So they
yeah.
can-
Apple,
HBO
Apple too.
They
That's
don't
why
have
Apple,
to license
HBO.
content. They don't have to. They
That's right.
have their
They
own
don't have.
content.
They have
Same-
their own content.
Yeah.
HBO is the same thing. Like they said, there's over 10,000 hours of content that are already going to drop, and that's theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And having all these contract, like he said, with all these shows that people aren't even touching, they're going to be like Disney. They're going to be the two strong forces that I feel that can compete with Netflix is going to be Disney and HBO Max. I'm not really concerned about Apple because I think Apple is doing a learning curve. It's going to go through a learning curve before they get somewhere.
Yeah.
But Disney coming out November 12th is going to be a huge threat. You watch Netflix's profit. I promise you, or their viewing times, whatever. I promise you, on November 12th, that is going to go down because Disney is coming in strong. Like everything that they have in it, it's coming in strong.
I don't know. I feel like people felt the same way when Amazon Prime came out, was announced, and
Amazon Prime never did.
Prime is pretty
Amazon
popular
Prime
though.
Didn't
But
come out
I don't
like
think
that.
I would ever pay for Prime separate from. Like I just do.
They don't do it. They don't do it. That's what's
yeah.
great about
That's the
Prime.
whole thing,
And that's what's
yeah.
great about HBO
Yeah.
Max. If you have HBO, they're giving you HBO Max. I mean, like this is smart.
Yeah.
But I would
because-
never pay
But
for
I,
HBO.
you don't put
There's not enough content.
You can't
Oh,
put
okay.
Amazon
We
in
argue
there
on that.
because Amazon never fully promoted Prime. They
Yeah.
just did it an additional thing to add
That's
on.
what's great
to
about
it.
Amazon. They
I
keep
love
adding
it. To
things
me,
on.
it's like a perk. Like
love
I feel
it.
like I'm really just
Dude,
paying
you got
for that.
you got
that
you got
2-day
Prime
shipping
Reading.
or whatever.
You have Prime Reading as part of your Prime,
and
like
a Prime Music
yeah.
apparently.
Yes, you have Prime
I've never
Music.
used any of that.
I
shit.
used it. I used
I
that.
don't use
I
any
saw
of that.
2 songs
Spoiled
from
me
You
it.
guys use it?
I
use
have,
it.
but
I
I'm
have.
spoiled.
You
I
guys read
Spotify.
books?
What? Books? How do you spell
What
that?
did you say?
Spell that for me. No, real quick.
DK.
I wasn't excited about HBO Max until we're doing this episode. For some reason,
Yeah.
now I'm getting excited about it because there's a lot of content on there that I feel like I really want and I've been missing. And I got HBO.
Are you
so
gonna
I'm-
watch? Are you actually gonna sit down and not watch all the new shit that's out? Not watch Mandalorian. Not watch all this new shit and go back and watch Fresh Prince.
I don't think you understand how much I like
No,
Fresh
there's not
Prince.
coming
It's
out
in
at the
my
same
top
time.
5, maybe top 10 sitcoms of all time. I love Fresh Prince, and
Yeah, but I love Seinfeld, and I've rarely gone back. Like
I'm
every
watching.
one-
I'm
in a
rewatching
blue
Seinfeld
moon.
right now.
But in a blue moon, I'll go back and watch.
I'm rewatching it right now.
Check this out. Check this out.
I did start rewatching Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Who's one of
Love
the
that
biggest
show.
directors
Me
of
too.
our time?
Me too. I just finished the first season.
Who's one of the biggest directors?
Steven
of our
Spielberg.
time? No,
Martin Scorsese.
James Abram.
J.J.
J.J.
Abrams.
J.J. Abram.
Yeah, he's one of the because he's
Is
done
he?
like dude.
He's
he
huge.
took on Star Trek
He's a
and
producer,
Star
too.
Wars.
He's a producer, too.
Yeah,
He's a big
check this
producer.
out. As far as original content goes, the biggest gun HBO Max in HBO Max's arsenal is J.J. Abram, who's recently signed a $250 million production deal with Warner Media, which is going to be.
But he's also doing Apple TV Plus stuff.
He's also doing it. Yeah, this is
Guys,
what I
like-
understand is the crossover contracts. That's
All he has to do is give me $5 million. He's such a fucking cheap fuck. Just give me $5 million, J.J. Abrams, because you have it.
Well, you got to give him.
Does
a
that
reason.
sound
You can't
too-
just ask people for fucking money.
No, he just
hey,
needs to give it to
bro,
me.
Can you give me $5?
No,
For
$5
what?
million.
I need to go buy a candy bar. Bitch, that's $2.
Dude,
Here's $1.
It was
Earn
Lost,
the other.
man. Lost was his thing.
Yeah.
I
Well,
felt-
no,
well,
Alias
it was Alias
and Felicity.
and then Alias became
Felicity.
Lost.
No, Felicity was big. Alias.
Which
and
one?
Lost.
What was Felicity about?
Carrie Russell, and she
that a
goes off
movie?
to college. No, it was a show. It was a soap opera show, like a teen one, but it was a little smarter. And then she goes off to college,
wow.
chases this guy to New York that she's like in love with. That's really more of an acquaintance. And then she's like, "Why did I fucking come all the way to New York to go to college to go to this guy? Like he doesn't even know I exist." Hardly,
Yeah.
and then she starts to create a life for herself and find her identity in the city and stuff like
Oh, I
that.
know.
That was his first real. He actually wrote Doc Hollywood with Michael J. Fox in the early '90s too.
Really?
Yeah, he was a feature film writer.
Oh,
and
so he's been around a while.
He's been around. Yeah, that was 92.
I love Doc Hollywood.
I love that.
Check
Yeah,
this out.
J.J. Abrams wrote that.
Wow.
Like
So-
92 or something.
HBO is pulling in some strong people, just like Apple is. They already have a production that's going to be one of their originals for HBO Max. That's called Let Them All Talk, which is directed by Steven Soderbergh.
Soderbergh. He's
Soderbergh,
great.
Yep. And
Steven Soderbergh.
it's starring Meryl Streep, Diane Waste.
Weist.
That's right.
You know, it might be
and
West, but it's
Candice
an
Bergen.
I in there, so it always throws me out. I-E-S-T. I like her.
Candice Bergen.
Lost Boys. You haven't seen it. She plays the mom in Lost Boys.
Holy
She's been a bunch of, you would 100% recognize her immediately.
The name
Diane.
sounds familiar.
W-I-E-S-T. Diane. I think it's 2 N's. But anyways, you would see her and go, oh yeah, 100%. She's been in a million things.
All their stuff is going to be fully 4K streamable.
Oh, okay, yeah.
4K, yeah. Let me say something real quick about HBO then, because this is an argument that me and Neil were having before we started recording, which is I think HBO has some of the best original programming on any platform. Period.
I agree.
I actually, if
What's
you told me
the elephant in the room? It's paid content.
Okay.
Whereas like network television they were relying solely on advertisers,
Yeah.
and if and solely on advertising. That's why, like, when you would turn on ABC, NBC growing up, you'd watch all these, different
But
channels.
that's not a good argument.
You also had, like,
don't
there
know
was
what the argument
severe content restriction. HBO could do whatever they want.
I know, they weren't-
and it was like
FCC,
totally
they
could be
weren't
rated
FCC
R. It could be
restricted.
this. It could be anything.
Totally.
And that's
When
the
you-
main reason that their content is
when you go buy
considered
when you
better.
go buy a watch, when you go buy a watch,
Such a weak argument. Holy shit.
Because
Wait,
they
wait,
would
wait.
never have a show like Seinfeld on HBO. That never would have happened
No,
because
they
they would
Curb Your
just
Enthusiasm instead, which is the same
they
thing
would
with a
just
couple
do.
fucks in it.
It's not the same thing.
It's
Yes.
documentary style with some
you
fucks in
can't.
it. Come
Dude,
on.
Okay, check
It's
this out.
great. I love
Seinfeld's
it.
not documentary style.
No, I'm
Look at
saying
me.
that's the only
Neil.
But
difference.
Look
Seinfeld
at
came
me.
about because they had to
Look at me.
avoid the line
Hey,
of
hey,
like
hey,
we can't.
look
we
at me.
He's the
can't be
speaker
rated
now.
R.
He's the
I'm a
speaker now.
speaker.
So we have to.
Hey, I'm your boyfriend
look
now.
at me. Look at me.
I am
Look at
I'm
me.
your boyfriend now.
I am talking now. Oh, yeah.
What's a watch brand that you know that's like nice?
He doesn't wear watches.
I don't wear watches.
What's a watch brand that you know that's nice?
Omega.
Timex. Is that a thing? It's a Swatch.
Okay.
Casio.
So let me go this
Swatch?
route.
Swatch?
So
Swatch?
a household name for like one of the biggest watches is Rolex.
Rolex. That's what
Rolex
it was.
is
Timex a
household
thing.
name.
Yeah.
Timex is the
I
thing.
don't know.
Yeah,
I
you're
just
right.
I'm thinking of like all
I
these
love
old
watches,
'90s
so-
movies
so
where they're like
I
selling
wanna see
fake
where
when you
Diego's
go
going
buy
with this.
when you go buy
I also
a Rolex, you don't go buy a watch. You go buy a Rolex.
Yeah.
That is HBO. It's a HBO is a household name. It's not a stream. You don't know it as it is. It's
Not-
been there.
I
dude,
didn't grow up with
HBO.
HBO,
is
so
you're
that's
broke.
why
If you
I don't-
ask
Because
people,
you're poor.
if you ask people,
Yeah,
what's
probably,
one of the
actually. That's
oldest
probably
paid
correct.
channels on television, people are gonna say
HBO's been around
majority
since
of people.
1972.
Yeah, they're gonna say
Yeah.
HBO.
I'm not saying HBO
is like
bad.
no, I know you're
I
not.
like a lot of their content, but I'm
Okay,
not riding their
let me-
dick.
let
What
me
I'm
just-
saying
You know
is
what I'm
this
saying?
is
I'm
why
not like
HBO.
praising them to high heaven like it's the greatest
Why
thing.
can't we ride
People
their
don't
clit?
look
Why
at
does
the
it always
pri-
have to be a dick?
My
All
whole
right.
point. Hold on, let me finish my
true.
point. My whole
That's
point
true.
Oh, he still makes
is
sense.
not the price. Price doesn't mean a thing when it comes to HBO because people will still pay fucking $15 for HBO, even though there's other service that's gonna be $4.99 or $10.99. They have that value. They have that value where people don't think twice about paying that $15 for HBO.
Right.
And you know, because you know you're gonna get majority of what you're gonna get is quality.
Yeah. And that's what I agree with because I personally, from a personal experience, if you actually told me, here's your three services, it's Netflix, it's Prime, and it's HBO. You can only keep one. I might actually pick HBO because I love their content. I love their original programming. They've got at least 20 years of great shows.
Yeah.
I love Sex and the City. I loved The Sopranos. I love The Wire.
You haven't even watched
True Blood was okay, and that wasn't
Deadwood.
bad. Deadwood I haven't
Fucking
seen,
guy.
but
Never
no.
even watched
But that's a
Deadwood.
perfect example. Like Deadwood's on there, and apparently that's incredible. Succession, Righteous Gemstones was so fucking good. I watched it every week. Westworld is fucking HBO. Like
Season 3 is
Game
getting ready to
of
come out soon.
Thrones.
I'm not saying HBO's
No,
bad.
you are saying it.
You're me, Neil.
See, this is what those Game of Thrones people are like. They're irrational.
But
you
I
have
ju-
to be able to criticize
You know,
HBO when
you
they're
watch-
garbage.
You watch Game of Thrones before, but they're not garbage. That's what I'm saying.
when they're
but
garbage.
they're rarely.
This is
they hit a higher
why. This
average.
is why we only have two political parties
No.
because of shit like this. Because everybody just
They
blindly
have-
follows one group or the
Let
other,
me s-
and they're like they're
They're gonna-
infallible.
You got
and I'm like,
Veep.
no,
You got
no.
Veep. They're gonna
Veep!
bring back the Larry Sanders show.
Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry Sanders Show is a perfect example. Oz. What else? I mean, it doesn't stop with them. They
doesn't-
the
it
Deuce. The
doesn't.
Deuce was so fucking good.
The Wire.
The Wire.
Like top show.
Is that
like,
even a good
one of the
show?
top shows.
Have you ever watched it?
No.
It's
Oh my
fantastic.
gosh.
If you like The Deuce, I mean, you said you.
I
were-
like the commish.
Okay, sure. He didn't even say The Shield. He said The Commish, which is both Michael
Commish.
Chiklis.
That's the
One
show
is
I
white.
watched growing up. I watched the commission. I was into it.
I love The Commish too.
And I like Life Goes On with Corky.
Yes,
Corky.
yes.
Those are the shows I
And-
remember watching.
And
I watched because I wasn't paying for
feed
my
his
television
ego-
like some,
to feed
Slave.
his ego.
Silicon Valley, dude.
Silicon Valley. To feed his ego, check this out.
Veep.
He's got the late night HBO.
After Hours, dude.
The after hours
That's
HBO.
true. Bunny Ranch.
I didn't actually know anything real sex. I don't know any of them After Hours shows at all.
Taxi cab confessions.
Taxi Cab Confessions.
Do they still do that? Because I feel like it used to come on at like 11 or something,
I
but
don't
now
know.
it's like
I
they
don't know.
I'm
just.
33 years old. I don't like maybe
And
when
maybe
I was
it's a
like
different channel
when I was
or
a kid, I was
something
like, oh yeah, but now I'm like,
Yeah.
plus the internet.
Barbar.
What?
Barbar. The
Babar?
elephant?
Babar?
Barbar.
Babar?
Barbar.
Babar.
I think
Babar.
it's Babar.
It's Babar. Babar. Yeah.
Babar?
It's all right. It's all right for TV shows.
I will flick you off right now.
Anyways, point being, and they always have good movies.
Yeah,
Here's
they make
something
good TV shows.
I know.
Like,
I
it's
also,
the home box office.
I also up here. Oh, I also watch. I always go through their movies that they have listed, the licensed movies that they have on there for a little, and they always have a great selection. I'm always
They
finding
have-
some on there. I
Oh
wanna
my
watch.
gosh,
and they
we're
got, like, some new
destroying you,
movies and-
Neil.
yeah.
Are you okay?
They have a good
Do you
programming
want some water
division.
right now? Because we're just gonna destroy. right
Listen,
now.
you guys. My only point here is that you always have to be. You always have to be a devil's advocate to something you love. You know what I'm saying? So dude, don't get sucked into the hype.
Why are you one to
Don't
give
get sucked into
advice?
hype.
Like, what do
The
you
hype-
have
what
going
do you
on
mean
in
get
your
some-
life?
There's no
Don't
hype.
get-
that makes
HBO
you-
brings you
right.
quality movies, quality shows, quality
over there with your
miniseries,
new
quality
hoodie,
cartoons.
thinking you're the shit. All of a sudden, you're better than the rest of us.
Yeah, that's that. Oh, you think just because you're fucking
I ain't gonna pay for HBO. I'll tell you that right now.
just
you don't
because
even
you're
pay for ad-free Hulu for $2 more, you cheap fuck.
I don't.
this
even pay for
motherfucker
that.
buying some thick cord
That's my
hoodies.
sister's account.
You don't pay for any streaming.
I pay for
You
Netflix.
You do?
I did pay because my sister
Yeah, that's
she
the thing.
downgraded
Yeah.
her thing to like the lowest one. So then when I would log in, it was like 480p or some shit, and I was like, I can't stand this garbage. So I had to pay.
That's funny. Well,
She forced me to pay, and then like a week later after she did that, she upgraded it back
All right,
to like normal. I was like,
final
tricked me.
statements. Final statement. I think HBO Max is going to be a huge and a threatening competitor like Disney Plus to Netflix because of how much quality, like Disney, HBO can bring in. It's especially with the big dogs that they're signing up with. So I don't think Apple Plus, Apple Streaming, whatever it's called, is going to be a threat now. So I wipe them aside. So my big competitors are Netflix, Disney Plus, and
Amazon Prime.
no, not Amazon, because Amazon I take them out because they're not primarily a streaming service.
I think they should be considered.
Well, they're not. They just recently
the
within
new
the last
Jack
couple
Ryan
of,
just
yeah,
hired
I watched that show. I
Man in
love
High
that show.
Castle, Jack Ryan, the boys.
Yeah,
They're
Harvest,
they're
that's within-
contender. I'm just saying, but it's been like a few years now.
Their show that 4 or 5 years, yeah. Their show are contenders because I love Jack Ryan. Like I was so excited that the season 2 came out this week.
The
so,
Expanse is the original.
The Expanse
show
is
for
actually
them.
another top show. Okay, fine. I'll bring Amazon back in, but I'm saying Amazon doesn't need to compete because everything they have.
Yeah, it's a package
Yeah,
deal.
it's a package
like, I guess
deal.
You
So
can
they don't
pay
need
for
to,
Amazon Prime
but I'm
separate. How much is that?
I don't think you can.
No, I think
I
you
don't
just
think-
you buy it because it's so fucking cheap. It's
Yeah.
like
But
$12.
I like buy everything
It's
from
80
Amazon now.
It's
so
literally less
they
than
got me.
$90
They got
a
me.
They're
year.
good.
$90 less than $90 a
Motherfuckers.
year. Yeah. So that's the only
I
stream.
hate
that's the only
myself
stream-
and I hate
Yeah.
them. Like
Yeah,
that's how
that's
I feel
the
about
only
HBO.
But mainly you
Like,
hate yourself.
HBO is great, but I like hate myself that I fall for their bullshit. You know
So
what I'm
I
saying?
think the
They're
war is
great content.
the war is going to be there. Where Netflix.
Oh, Barry on HBO. Great fucking shit.
And
Yeah,
I should
Barry.
point out that. So how many times have you used that HBO app and it's fucking garbage?
No, that was
Where
on
you couldn't
Xbox
log
One.
in?
On my
Doesn't
Xbox
matter.
One. No, but that was
Doesn't
the only,
matter.
No, but I'm just saying that's the only place. And I never
their
understood
app,
that.
Their app, whoever their app technicians are or app developers, it's like fucking
But
garbage.
I've used it
they
on-
need to fix that
No,
shit.
Apple
'Cause Have
TV
you had trouble
listen.
trying to log into their app services?
No,
I've
it's
never
just
had issues
Xbox
like
One.
that.
It's an Xbox One thing for some reason. Yeah, it is shit.
No,
But
I've tried it on my phone and had errors.
I've done it on
I've
Google.
never had
No, I've had it on
issues
Google
with HBO Go.
Chromecast. I've done it on my phone. I've done it on my iPad. I've done it on Apple TV. I've done it on my Amazon Fire TV Cube. I have way too many.
And
fucking
never
things.
had an
No-
issue?
No issues.
Damn, Nick.
Zero issues. On
Do you
any of
have
those,
Apple
But
device also?
Apple TV.
This guy has everything. He's the fall to
This guy.
all this.
I got a PC and
Wait,
a
you
Mac.
have an
I'm all-
Android? Oh, that's right. You have the whatever. What is the lady that's listening to you all the time? Those Amazon people listen to all your conversations in your home.
Oh, Alexa. I have
Alexa.
I have an Echo.
The
I have an
lady
Echo
that's-
and I have an Amazon Fire TV. I have everything.
yeah.
Oh
Dude,
my
they're all
God.
listening to you now. You've seen all these articles.
I
Like,
know, and I give 'em-
Apple's
I give 'em a
listening
good
to
show.
you.
I give 'em- I give good-
Amazon's like they have real people listening to you
I
in
give
your
good
house.
talk. What can I say? I like to
And
be.
they're not even employees of the company. They're like some third parties. They hire homeless people, and they're like, listen to these people and tell
It's
us.
like
you know,
Louis. I'm really good at it,
important
and I don't like to be alone. So I just I invite some
see,
company
guy-
over to.
All right. Anyhow, all right. So that's my final statement is that those are going to be the big dogs for me. I think I don't put the reason why I don't put Amazon there because they're all inclusive with other
Yeah,
stuff. So
that's true.
these primarily streaming services is going to be to me the competitors are going to be HBO Max because they have. I mean, just reading this article, they have a lot
Yeah.
of huge hitters
I
that are
hope
going to
they
be
bring
involved.
Martin on.
How do they compare right now with HBO Go and HBO Now?
That's the thing. People
Like,
like
what
a
are the
lot of
stats?
people. A lot of people have HBO. They don't think twice about having HBO.
Well, a lot of people have had it because it's been around for 70
Their
or
show,
70 years.
they're fucking.
How many years?
Look at Game of
70,
Thrones.
50,
Look
almost
at Game
50
of
years.
Thrones. It is
47.
known to be a thing that people will step up and pay for HBO just to watch one of their shows. Game of Thrones.
That was that meme with Obi-Wan where he's like the end of Game of Thrones season, whatever. When the season ended, like Obi-Wan's like, "There's been a great disturbance in the forest," and it's like HBO because like it's like millions of people worldwide like cancel their HBO subscriptions.
Real quick, HBO as of 2018 has 140 million subscribers worldwide.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
I mean,
That's a good
Netflix.
That's a good start.
Netflix came out of nowhere
wait,
and like
wait.
it's
Yeah.
double that.
Yes, but Netflix had everything. HBO's
Blah,
just
blah,
HBO
blah,
content.
blah,
No, it's
blah.
just HBO content.
Blah,
Netflix.
blah.
Look,
I'm out.
Netflix created the concept.
That's true. We should.
They
film this.
came in as the only one for a long time
Yeah.
as a streaming service.
Oh,
That's what
remember
they
when,
had.
I remember when Netflix launched. I
They
thought
shut
it was
down-
garbage.
yeah.
I was like, this
Are
is
they
awful.
big-
You have to have really fast internet and really like I had cable internet at the time,
Yeah.
and we tried to use the app, and it was like not great, and it would like stutter. And
They
it would,
shut
like,
down
quality would crap
Blockbuster.
out, but
They shut down.
it was
and-
innovative. I was
yeah.
like, this is the future, man. This is
Yeah.
the fucking future.
Yeah.
They
Like-
shut down Blockbuster by their DVD rentals over mail.
Yeah.
So
I miss Blockbuster.
they're a
though.
big dog, but the
Is that
problem
sad?
with Netflix
No, it's not sad.
is
It's
that if
nostalgic.
investors decides not to invest, there's not a Netflix is not going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
HBO doesn't have to worry about that.
Oh, they have
Disney doesn't.
Watchmen, the new Watchmen shows on.
new
HBO.
Watchmen
I
show?
haven't watched it yet, but I'm going to. Like
HBO has it, yeah,
It's only
so-
got like 2 or 3 episodes on there now. But
All
I've
right.
been,
So say your closing statement. We're
okay, you do your closing statement, and then I'll do mine.
Are we doing a versus?
no. Just you
Oh,
close-
and they also have all the great stand-up specials that have come out. Oh, George Carlin did almost every stand-up special. He was actually the original stand-up specials for HBO, where he had like 79 was like his first one. 1979.
But
Every
see,
year he was
this
doing
is-
them.
The fact that someone says one little thing critical about HBO,
Band of
and
Brothers
everybody's like,
miniseries.
digging up all these good things.
Big
to
Little
prove-
Lies. Big Little Lies is that
Chernobyl. John Adams.
Chernobyl is literally one of the best miniseries I've ever seen. 5
Really?
episodes. It's so
that good?
It's no, trust me.
Because you're hyping it.
No,
I
I-
might go and watch it now because of the hype.
You're gonna hit your expectation. You're gonna be hyped up, and you're like, wow, that fucking lived up to the hype.
Is
it's
it like
that
House
good.
of Cards good?
I never watched House of Cards.
What
But
the-
I'll
I
tell
never
you
watched
something.
House of Cards.
No, no.
Are you serious?
Chernobyl.
House of Cards,
Chernobyl is
It went-
5 episodes. It's visually stunning. The acting is fucking solid. The writing's incredible. It is edge of your
Dude.
seat.
Yeah.
Amazing. It really is that good.
HBO shows
It won
is
all the Emmys.
always up
Won
for
like 11
awards.
Emmys.
Did it?
Like
Yeah.
every year, HBO shows are always up for awards. Always.
Yeah.
Oh, Boardwalk Empire, HBO show. I mean, this shit. It
Carnival.
goes on and on. Carnival. It goes on and on. Like the stuff that they have on there, the
It's
series.
just ridiculous.
Yeah, I always go to HBO just they get me. Like Crashing, I loved that show when that was
I don't
on.
know,
Unfortunately, it
but-
got
Ballers.
canceled.
I guess when I
Crashing.
look at HBO, to me, it's like a TV thing. And they have movies as a bonus, but they usually only have like a couple hundred movies, if that. Maybe
Entourage
less.
was on there. I loved Entourage when it was on. I'm a
Yeah,
big
it's like
Entourage fan.
good.
Yeah.
It's like movie quality TV.
Flight of the
That's what
Conchords.
you're getting. You're getting a
Flight of
home
the
box
Conchords,
office.
Flight of the
I
Conchords.
love Flight of the Conchords. Do you ever watch it?
No, I never watched it. But what I'm
Hippopotamus,
saying-
hippopotamus.
You're just saying it because you know I love
I
it,
know.
you
It's like,
motherfucker.
no, what I'm saying is this is all
Hippopotamus?
HBO. It's
I
original
watch
programming to
Hip-hop-
HBO.
Hip-hop.
Hippopotamus.
What I'm saying is it's all HBO original programming have done all these amazing content, which I'm like, this shit's just fucking solid.
Yeah.
Like they've just figured it out over the years and they gravitate towards and they just have good taste. You know,
Yeah.
I've never seen something on there.
I
that
don't know.
go,
I don't think I'm excited for HBO Max at all, but because they're just bringing other people's content that they created to their network, and that's fine.
You
That's-
watch
that's
Game of
fine,
Thrones,
but,
right?
Now they are doing. They
I
are
watch
doing,
Game of Thrones with
You
other
watch Game of
people's
Thrones.
HBO.
They
account.
also do
What's-
have.
I've never
What's-
given
here's
HBO
what I'm
any
saying
of
to
my
you.
money.
Oh, also
Here's-
Life's Too Short and Extras.
Remember the Mountain?
both
was good,
Ricky
yeah.
Gervais.
Remember
both
the
of them.
Mountain
Yeah.
when he got into that fight and he died?
Yeah, and you mean one of the last episodes? Like,
Yeah.
You talking about like the third to last episode or whatever? Of the
No,
show?
when he fought for Tyrion. When the other guy fought for Tyrion.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. We mean before he got brought back
Before-
to life.
yeah,
okay,
before
so
he
not
got-
when he
yeah.
died, but when
Yeah,
he
I'm sorry.
died.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
I would,
Earlier
the
when he,
context
when he
was
crushed the
missing.
guy's head
Yeah,
and then the poison. Yeah.
that's HBO.
okay.
He's
I'm
gonna
even
crush
on
your
your
head.
side, and I'm like, okay.
He's gonna crush your head.
Oh, HBO is gonna crush my head?
No, the competitors.
Oh, okay.
You know, you're not on your
You're
last.
not a threat.
I'm so.
You're not.
Diego, this is not time for your last words, and then you came in. You
Well, you're
undid
not
all
saying
the,
last words.
We're saying last words.
You
They're
know,
last
you're
words.
pulling up shows on your phone. Neo's trying to find things to say
I'm
that
giving
doesn't
him-
mean much because he's against HBO.
I'm
I'm
giving
not
him-
against HBO. I like HBO. I'm just like not, you know.
You're
not
not
like
a
the
fif-
greatest thing since sliced bread cheese. or
You're not a
whatever.
$15.
Sliced bread is very.
Whatever
Let me
that
ask
old
you this.
saying
Man.
is, you know, sliced
You're
bread.
not a $15 subscriber. For
No,
HBO.
I've never given
That's
them
what
any
you
of
are.
my money.
Okay.
All my
All
entire
right.
life experience with HBO has been through
You
other
don't pay
people.
for most things you have in your life.
Exactly. You have Amazon.
You know good
I do
street
pay for
rat.
I do pay for Amazon
He pays
and
for
Netflix.
You don't pay. Use your sister's in Netflix.
This guy makes
no,
this guy makes close
for
to
the
$1 million
last, like,
a
year and a
year.
half,
This
I've
guy makes
paid.
like $950 fucking $1,000 a year, and he won't pay for more than Amazon. This guy,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Free-
Well, I mean, you
fucking
have to.
freeloader, man.
You have to. Amazon's like, you know, they're the future. Like literally, they'll just consume everything. Like HBO will get bought out by Amazon. Amazon's gonna buy Netflix. They're gonna buy Disney. They're gonna buy, and we'll all be wearing Amazon clothing. It'll say
right.
Jeff Bezos on it. It'll be the future.
a Bezosian.
Yeah, and everybody will be okay with it. You know, it's gonna be that wonderful.
Anyways, quick last words. I think I am a very big, large proponent of HBO content. I think that whoever's in their programming division, in their content approval division, whatever that is, I think they're solid. I think there's other shows like Insecure. I think is great. They have a lot of multi-generational and cultural voices in their shows. I think they don't, because they're not network shows and because they're not subservient to ads and stuff like that. Like you said, they're paid programming. They're they just have this way of like not serving that other stuff, and you could feel the difference. It feels like more truthful storytelling. It feels like more authentic. It just feels like more quality. And I think some of the greatest shows of all time have been HBO shows, and they continue to deliver new ones. I love Barry. I love Righteous Gemstones. Those are new shows.
Yeah.
And there's more coming out, and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
I'll pay.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, everyone.
I mean, I like these shows, but you know,
Wah, wah.
they're not.
Silicon Valley, Veep. I mean,
It took
come
me
on.
like
Curb
even
Your Enthusiasm. These are
Game
all
of Thrones
HBO.
was like a slow burn for me. Like I didn't instantly love that show, even like going into.
Dude,
like,
you know I
fourth,
didn't
fifth
watch
season.
this whole thing until the last season.
Yeah, that's right. You
Yeah.
didn't, and you're like riding your dick right now.
I'm
and
not
you didn't
riding
even
Game of
watch
Thrones.
Game of Thrones until like the last.
That's what I'm saying. That's how much I
season.
love HBO. Is I love all their other content, and Game of Thrones is just a bonus to me. I don't do HBO because of Game of Thrones. I do HBO because of all the other shit. And then Game of Thrones is also a good show on there that I really like.
Now.
Yeah,
At the end.
it's not a Game of Thrones show for me. Yeah, it's not a Game of Thrones platform for me. Like that's not why I have HBO.
Yeah.
Take Game of Thrones off there, I'm
Yeah, it's
still
all right.
completely on it.
It's all right. I'm more excited for Disney Plus than I would be for this HBO Max thing.
Oh, that's fucking nuts. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Is it?
Yeah, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's all I
Disney
gotta
Plus,
say.
dude. Are you more excited for Disney Plus?
Right now, I am.
Oh, I thought you said no. You said Apple TV Plus.
No, he said
No,
Disney,
Disney
Plus.
Plus.
He said Disney Plus.
Oh, you thought I said Apple? Why would I be excited for anything
Grandpa,
that Steve
I
Jobs
want to
did?
rewind this and check
No,
it out because
Grandpa,
on recording.
We can play it
Grandpa,
back at the end.
he
We
said
will.
Disney, Grandpa.
Yeah, what's happening? Why would I be excited for anything Apple related?
Yeah,
ever?
that's very true. That
Ever.
context right there should have.
I'm like,
you should have known that.
Google is my
Kuta.
overlord, not Apple.
Kuta,
Google. Google's my
from
overlord.
upstairs.
Whoever runs Google, I don't know. Those brothers? Are they?
They're not
Well,
brothers. They're not
Google
brothers.
Google
The
is
friends?
taking a whole different route. Google is going gaming.
Yeah,
Stevia.
that's true.
So,
That's true.
all right, let's not get
Stevia?
into.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Okay. We're good.
Oh yeah, Stadia.
Stadia, whatever, yeah.
Stevia.
That
Stevia.
shit sugar.
Erythritol.
Yeah, they got stevia.
Monk
That shit
fruit.
sweet.
No.
The best
Monk
one is
fruit.
monk fruit
I agree
because
with
that
that.
doesn't have that nasty aftertaste like
Yeah.
stevia.
Poor,
All right.
poor man's honey.
We're helping people cure diabetes right
Yeah,
now.
there you go.
Eat monk fruit.
All right.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us here at Get to the Movies and Shows and Movies
apparently.
and Shows and everything else because we talked about everything.
Yeah, but they also have good movies. Wizard of Lies was great. They do some original movies on HBO.
I was on the outro.
And I'm just throwing that out because you just mentioned movies. We really didn't talk much about it. We are Get to the Movies, so keep going.
Thank you guys for joining us at Get to the Movies. That's Get to the Movies with the number 2. My name is Diego D'Souza.
I'm Nick Gambino.
And I'm Neil Carson.
Sansa, this is Jon Snow. I have to go to the north. I have to find my wolf.
How long do you think he was like holding this in his hip pocket? Like, and that's what he came up with, like the whole episode, and that's what he settled on.
No, you should say you know nothing.
You know
That's the
nothing.
famous line.
What do we say?
You know nothing.
What do we say to death today?
Not today. Wait, no.
No, she
Fuck
doesn't.
it, that's not.
No, what do we say to death?
Yeah,
What do we say to death?
He gave the
Not
answer
today.
in the question.
I did.
Fucking Diego.
What do we not say to death today?
Yesterday. So you're like Austin Powers. Yeah, I'd like to
What do we
introduce.
say
I
to
like.
death tomorrow from yesterday? Not today.
What does he go? I'd like to introduce myself to. What does he say?
To myself.
Allow myself to introduce myself.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.